Hello everybody and welcome back to Isla Napali. It's only been 2 days since the last episode. Yesterday there was the City Skylines Day in brackets. If you haven't seen that, jump over and watch it. And today we are back in Isla Napali. I have read through all your comments that you've been posting beneath that video on Friday, and in this episode we have let's say 10 minutes, something about 10 minutes, where we have a bit of just discussing different things I have changed in the time-lapse, and then there will be a live part at the end of this. Well, it's not live, it's kind of a real-time part, I should say, where I'm going to look in depth into the area so that you guys then can give some more suggestions for the future. But as always, in today's episode, I'm so sorry, but I couldn't do something special for the comments. It's just because it's so back-to-back and I had so less time on the weekend that I wasn't able to do a little bit of a creative thing. But yeah, you know what, for the Wednesday or Friday episode, depending on what I can get done, I'll be there again with something creative to go through your comments. And today, let me just quickly go through some of them, just to give you some ideas of what's going to happen. So first of all, from Bella. Bella said, "Hi Rudi, I like the look of this building, but I think it would be better with a wooden wall than this cement type wall. In my opinion, the wood would just look nicer with the thin roof." The thing is that I intentionally built this one out of it's not cement, it's stucco, I guess. But the thing is that this is the one which is in the middle of the harbor and needs to withstand most of the things, like weather and also the water, which is crashing against that little harbor bay wall, whatever. So it would be better to have like kind of a bit more resistant material to this kind of things. But yeah, the majority of buildings on this whole island will definitely be out of wood to make it all fit a bit more into this Hawaiian style. So the next thing I'm going to read out is basically, let's kind of take this one as a good example what we're going to do in the future. So a gaming kid said, "Hey Rudi, you need a motel or something for people who arrive there at your island. If it's dark and they are sleepy." So yes, as I said, we're gonna have a hotel, but it will be one hotel in the middle of the park, which is basically kind of the sleepover destination. And something I thought would be very cool about Isla Napali in general, it's kind of a day trip area. So I imagine that it is maybe a small island which is located next to a bigger island, so that going there would be a day trip where you would join a boat very early on in the morning, and the trip would kind of take, let's say, 40 minutes or something, and then you would be at this island. So it is kind of the theme park at the island is a day trip, but if you have too much money, you can definitely go and spend a lot of money to just sleep over in the big luxury hotel in the middle of the park, which we're gonna do then in the future. But for now, it won't be located in the harbor. The only thing we're gonna have is staff rooms, and I'm going to see if I can find this comment, because there's one more I want to read out, because I thought that would be a very cool thing as well. And this is from Douglas Silva. He said, "An antenna tower on some high part of the mountain, rounded by nature. Have you ever watched Lost? You can take a lot of inspiration from that series." I haven't watched it too much, I have to say. I have watched some episodes, but I'm definitely aware of the fact that they had this one, like a very good one, where they tried to go to get some energy and stuff. So yeah, it is a great idea, and I can really imagine that looks super nice and super cool on top of the mountain. And we're gonna definitely do this, but I think we're gonna hold this back for a later part when UGC is more like a thing. Let me just still see if I can find this comment. I think that's the one. So yeah, it is from Grey Pea, or Grey Pie, I guess. Well, Grey Pea, Grey Pie, no matter what it is, but it's something like that. "I feel as if the park entrance should not be straight out of the harbor. There should be a drive over the park to make it seem like the main priority of the island is not just the theme park. There should be places to live near the harbor, and like a downtown kind of area where people staying in the hotels can go out and eat and buy groceries." as much as I like the idea, the island is not big enough to really feature a majority of houses and stuff in comparison to the theme park. So this island is mainly intended to be a theme park. Nevertheless, we definitely need buildings for employees, so we definitely do not want that everybody is going to leave the island every single evening. So that most of the staff, for example, also from the hotels and so on, can live here. The problem is that there is not that much space, but I'm going to show this a bit more in the real-time part later on, because this shows you a bit better what I'm talking about. Then I just want to read out one more comment. I'm not going to read that out completely because it is really long and then I can't say anything else. But I just wanted to mention this comment because it was just so amazing. I really had a good laugh with it. So it is from Djovi, and he was making kind of an email letter, and I'm just starting with the first few lines, and then I'm going to stop in the middle. If you want to, just go over to the old video and check his comment out because it's really fun to read and really enjoyed reading it. So, to Isla Napali Inc. Attend Mr. Camel, Mr. A. Camel, I should say, in brackets a.camel at islanapali.de. I would suggest it would be com, I have to say. Anyways, sender trade design company s.c.emmer, in brackets emmer.sc at tradedesign.nl. So, dear Mr. Camel, hello. My name is Stephen Christopher Emmer, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the totally real and definitely existing design company. Our media team, consisting of me and my cat, noticed your company's new and exciting project on the island of Napali. And every single person at our office was very enthusiastic. All three of us wanted to buy our tickets immediately. Sadly, we had no idea how, or it was even possible. Seeing that your project sadly has no promotional material anywhere across the city, and we wanted to change that. So now he's going to give some good reasons why I should choose him as my design company. I should say choose them. Him, the cat, and cat, I guess. Seriously, guys, this is what I'm doing this all for. This is such a great thing. I definitely, the moment I read this comment, I knew I have to mention that in the video because it is just so much fun, and I love how you guys can really just sink into this. Also, the comments in my Discord. So if you're not in the Discord right now, you should definitely check the link out in the description below because this will guide you into my Discord, and there is the company chat where everybody can discuss with each other what you guys want to suggest me for this island and what we should go for. But yeah, one more comment though, because that's one thing we definitely have to talk about, and then I'm going to talk a bit more about what's happening in the background. So it is from Merlin. This harbor needs a crane for unloading bigger stuff like coaster tracks or trucks, mobile cranes. Sorry, I just left this one out there. I don't think it's possible to build a coaster without that stuff. He's totally right. I mean, how on earth should we be able to bring a coaster there without without having a crane that can carry it upwards onto the island? I should say upwards is the wrong word, but anyways. Yeah, so now as we are a bit more into the video already, you will have seen that I've changed already quite a bit, and this is also down to all your comments. So I've definitely I definitely took a few minutes to look if the overall footprint of the harbor area would work the way it is at the moment, and I figured it doesn't really because it's a bit small in the middle, and someone suggested also to increase the space we have between the building and the actual wall going into the water. And yeah, following on the comment that Merlin just gave, I just wanted to show here already the little progress we made with the little ramp. And I definitely have to say that this is a great idea to have a ramp here, because basically it's not only for ships to bring them up into a maintenance thing, it is also for unloading stuff. So you can definitely think that a boat can actually hold over there, and then you can just bring, for example, trucks or something can be easily removed from the ship by just having this ramp over here. So I hope that this is a good thing for the future, because we have to look into all these kind of things, and I hope that this will really help shaping the island the way I want to shape it. Here you can see this building over here is also again made out out of wood. So for the comment I just read out at the beginning of this episode, you can technically see already that I'm going to use more wood in the future. Although this building over here is just more or less a blueprint. And talking of blueprint, I should have a little word over here, because I didn't want to go into buildings that quickly, because I wanted to wait for the UGC. But since we don't have that much information or that many information about how the theme maker toolkit thingy will work actually in the end, I think it's rather important to make a progress in this park and talk about what we need and what we have. And I think it can even be very cool to see how a UGC model of exactly these buildings will change the look of it in comparison to what we built right now. So I think it could be a cool task then to rebuild exactly those two buildings we have at the harbor right now and make it really completely custom with really nice textures and stuff. I can't wait to do this, and I think it's not bad to have these buildings already at hand, being a nice blueprint of what we really need in the future. So yeah, that's it. But now it's time to go into the real-time part, so I see you in a few seconds again. Hey, and here we are now in the live part of Isla Napali as promised. Just quickly moving out to show you a bit of these camera dollies over here. This is for making the end shots for you guys. This time I'm not going to do any because we are having this little live talk over here. But let me just go into detail what we have changed upon your request. So we are starting down here. So obviously you were totally right that having those tires down here alone is a bit too dangerous, and these ships would actually maybe have their ships destroyed by these sharp edges of the rim, which is still within the tire. And this is why I changed it and built something more buoy-like, and having these kind of plastic things down here. And I used the plastic bags, the trash bags, because I figured these were the best option to make this look like actually having these things hanging around here. Then obviously I took the bigger tire, which unfortunately looks a bit too clean, but I think it does the job. And yeah, just made it a bit more random looking so that it doesn't look too repetitive. It still does look a bit repetitive. Damn, that's a bad word for my weird talking. But then I also talked, I increased this area over here. So what we had is basically it was until over here, so very short, and obviously as you suggested, no truck in this world would actually be able to go here, and so if it wants to load something over here, that would basically be very tight and yeah, nearly impossible. So we changed that, and we do have this little garage over here now also accessible. Obviously a few things lying around, as you can see over here. Cable is broken, we have this jerry can lying in the way, we have this bollard over here, so if the truck wants to go down here, you definitely have to move away all these crap things, because yeah, you need to free your way through it. Then we have these things over here. I don't know if you figured them in the last episode. I slightly moved them so that they fit a bit and have this little bollard next to them. So these are kind of these little I don't even know how they're called. Usually they are made out of, and this is what I could change actually and use these things for it, because it's more or less metal and not concrete. But you can basically move them out like a little bit of a bridge, and then if the boat just hold down here, you can just move across this little thing onto the boat. And then they have something like a mobile railing thing, which I still have to build, because that's what they push towards it, so that the people have to move over and not fall down this gap which opens over here. Funny enough, having these things like open as this is, it's not very uncommon, so it's pretty dangerous around these harbors. So if you just walk a tad bit too far over here, you just want to go and fall down into the water. That's what's happening. So next thing I changed is I changed this area over here a bit, because you guys were suggesting to have a kind of a little how's this called, a safety net or something above the oil drums to make them a bit more safe from the weather. And this is what I just did. I made a little bit of a plastic plane going around it, or plastic cover I should say, and the problem with that is I didn't really know what to use for it, and in the end I used a million of these trash cans because they have this little nice texture to it, and this nice glowy plasticky effect and shading effect. So I used this one basically. It's a bit sad that I had to use so many of those, so this is something I'm really considering to do in Maya quite soon, making kind of plastic assets that you can use as cover for these kind of things, because we will use this quite a few times, so making some dollies would be a bit better, I guess. So yeah, I put a little bit of a lamppost over here just to make sure that this area is lit. We have this little energy station over here, which I don't really know if that makes sense, because yeah, it should be secure from water, but yeah, I just put this here, added some more additional details, and to make this more like a backstage area in general. Also, I added these kind of little boxes over here. We have a little fly effect over here, so that it really have a bit this harbor kind of it's a bit more dirty, right? You would have actually flies and bugs flying around, and put even some more jerry cans over here, so just to make it all look a bit more finished and a bit more jank. People requested more jank, so I put more jank in. Yeah, and you can already tell from the floor, I used my concrete design I made back then for Koali backstage area, and I think it still works. I changed a bit the color of it. I put in a few more of these broken elements so that it looks a bit more nice. You can actually see over here I tried to make this area a bit yeah, a different colored, so that we have the oil running down or whatever is in this jerry can. Just made this floor pattern look a bit more different. That's what I wanted to do, just to give it a bit more character over here. So, and the last thing I did is I added some more stairways over here, a bit more jank over here. I moved the little truck a bit to the right hand side so that it's open. We have a bit more floor patterns and some more canal covers here and there, just to make sure we have a tire lying around, so a bit more jank here and there. And I changed this one according to your feedback. You wanted to have some more of these antenna things, lightning rods, I guess they're called. So I put a few more in, and I used this kind of northwest east thingy to make it look a bit more janky and a bit more crappy, I guess. So if we want to have this look from over here, so that you have still more antennas going on, and later on if there are more buildings, I just want to see all these antennas blocking the view. I think it's a nice thing. Yeah, and the last thing we should talk about is the beginning of this building, because that's basically just a very basic shape. We have this ramp over here, which is a bit, I don't even know why it is a bit more set to the left. It should be in the middle. I don't know why I put this. I think I just put the second row on the right, on the wrong side. Like, rather having it on the right hand side, I put it to the left hand side of this one. I don't know what I did here. But yeah, now it's up to you guys. This should be the little maintenance hub, and I have no ideas what we do need for it as well. I wanted to put the crane over here, so that we have the crane over here. I wanted to go for a mobile crane, but yeah. And then there is this one thing I want to talk about as last thing, and this is where we want to put the entrance. I still want to have the entrance over here. This is pretty much down to the fact that I want to have this area back here for the helipads, or maybe down here. I'm not quite sure though, because like having the helipads over here and maybe a little bit of a cargo harbor area over here would actually make us or put us in a position where we have a bit more backstage area, and then we could also fit some more buildings for the people living over here without having them blocking the view to the theme park and taking too much away from the immersion. But having this harbor as the entrance area still is a nice idea, I guess, because I don't want to make this an overly expensive park. It is a budget park, and so there is no money to cover up the whole harbor area, and we're gonna have a nice entrance over here. But this is how you enter the park, and you will have to go down from the boat over here, or maybe we're gonna do it on the right hand side. I don't really know where exactly. Maybe we can make a nicer thing over here, but for the moment I want to keep it as it is, as like having this nice harbor but also realistic looking harbor. So people would come down here, and then we will have the little gate control over here, and having the big entrance maybe a bit like tilt to the left hand side over here, so that you can enter the park. Basically, this is the biggest area we can use to build on. We may want to enlarge the park or extend the park into this area, but that's pretty much it. So the only area we have for the park really is this area over here. Then we have this area with the beaches, and we have this area over here. That's it, guys. Maybe we're gonna have a lookout over here, but this is just a lookout. And I don't want to destroy anything of the landscape, because the landscape is the hero of this park. So this is pretty much where all the park will be. It will be a challenge. So we can also build something in the crater, in the crate. But we definitely need also some more areas for the hotel. So we need to fit the hotel in here as well. So maybe the hotel can go upon this hill over here. I'm not quite sure though, but I just like how the landscape looks. So maybe it's not going there. So yeah, there's not that much space. So we have to rely on this harbor. And now it's time for you guys to come up with some more ideas about this particular area. How is this building made, and what should we do there? What do we need? We need a crane, obviously, but how do these kind of ramps work? Maybe you can also look into some real pictures and link them into the comments. I'm going to allow the comments, don't worry. But yeah, guys, it's now up to you. Please, come on, like in all the other videos, it's such a pleasure to read through all of it. Give me some ideas about our little maintenance building and how we're gonna deal with the entrance area. Maybe you have some cool ideas how we can just make this a bit more nice, so maybe let them go down the ship on the right hand side, and where should we put the crane, and what should be in this building over here. So how could we make this really look like a maintenance area? Maybe put already a boat in or something. But anyways, so that's it about this episode. See you in the next one, and have a great Sunday. But until then, and see you. Bye bye, guys.
We should be hiding out wherever we may find love.